Hello friends, and welcome to part 3 of my Big Ben Conga. If you missed the earlier parts of the earlier videos, I will link them in the description. Big Ben is my favorite mold and my largest traditional Conga. There are 32 models here, which includes 3 customs. So for today's tour, I am going to be focused on the middle shelf. And for that, I will need the step stool again. So give me a sec. Okay, here we go. Starting on the left, this is double exposure. This was a model available to subscribers of Just About Horses magazine. He was released in 2003, and he was a set with the matching stablemate ornament that he's paired with. They were painted in exactly the same colors and design, thus the name double exposure. And as I mentioned in my previous video, here's that G2 warm blood mold again for the mini stablemate version. Okay, next to him, this is Sergeant Pepper. This was a Breyerfest special run from 2003. He's done in this splatter dapple black pattern that Breyer's done a couple of times. And this guy is a great one for variation collectors because he ranges from very dark, almost solid black to very lacy white, very sparse. And my guy, you can see, it's got a bit of an interesting note. Underneath here, you can see his one leg is almost missing paint. So it fades away right there and then comes back towards his hoof. And over the years, I've thought about getting a different one, replacing this guy with one that's more even-toned. But I kind of like him this way. Okay, next, this white Appaloosa. This is Brahms. Also a Breyerfest special run, but much later. Brahms is from 2022, and he is lovely. Love those Appaloosa spots. And Brahms was very exciting for me because there hadn't been a new Breyer release of Big Ben for 7 years. So Brahms was a bit of a surprise, a very welcome one for me, and I loved having him. Okay, next on the shelf, this is another Big Ben. This is number 3 for those keeping count. And I said I wasn't a variation collector, so why do I have this guy? Well, he is the exact same Big Ben, but he was used for the Spruce Meadows event in, 1999. And I can't quite get under there here, but he is signed on his belly by both Kathleen Moody, his sculptor, and Ian Miller, the gentleman who owned and rode Big Ben during his career. And I enjoyed the idea of having those signatures, special as they are, to Big Ben, and which is why I have this model. And sources differ on the amount made, but there's an article in the Just About Horses magazine that says there were 80 of them for the Spruce Meadows event. Okay, next, this darker bay. This is Sonnet, another Breyerfest model. This was a volunteer model from 2005, and 120 were made. Breyerfest runs on its volunteers, and they receive a special model as thanks for their work. And this guy is lovely. I love his high white socks. Okay, next, this is Après Ski. This was the holiday horse for last year, 2024. And you can't quite tell, but he's got a white tail. There is a special name for that, and it has escaped me. But as the holiday horse, he came decked out in some wonderful fancy holiday tack. And of course, he's named Après Ski, so he has skis. And I kept the tack, but I just display the model because I don't really need the tack. Okay, and next, this is the first custom we've come to. This is a custom by Cheryl Leisure, who is a well-known painter in the hobby. He was made roughly 2001, and one of my good friends won him as a door prize in a show and gave him to me. He's very shiny, he's a bit pearly, and he's got that splatter, dapple, resist paint effect. I don't think I can get up quite under there, but Cheryl Leisure also painted his teeth, which was unexpected when I discovered it. And in front, to match him, is another custom, and this one is done by Jennifer O'Donnell Danza, also in that splatter dapple technique, except he's a matte finish instead of the pearly glossy. And he was made some number of years later, I don't quite remember when, but I bought him specifically as a companion to my larger guy. I thought they made a nice pair. Okay, next, this is Milton. He was released for a span of a few years in the early aughts, I believe. Lovely guy. And next, this is Rio. Rio was a special model released by the Chronicle Support Network. He came in a boxed set with a doll and a halter. And I bought the set, but all I wanted was the horse. I think he's very pretty. I love his small white sock there in the front. He was released in 2015. Only 250 sets were made. And he was, I mentioned earlier, he was the last Big Ben for a number of years. And I thought maybe he was going to be the last one ever. It wasn't until Brahms, the Spotty Boy, came out that I had any new Big Bens for a while. Okay, back over here. And here we go, another Big Ben. That's number 4. But this one is pretty distinct. This one was released for the FEI World Equestrian Games. And for that event, Breyer produced a number of different models and souvenir products. And by that point, it was 2010, Big Ben was out of production. The model was no longer being made. So this is what's called a reissue. So he's been painted brand new. And so he's not next to the other ones, but I'll put up a picture. He is noticeably darker than the rest, and his white markings are noticeably brighter and crisper. Breyer did a couple of reissues of previous models for that event, and this is one of them. Next to him, this is a porcelain. It's from the same World Equestrian Games. This was one of the souvenir products, and it is Big Ben in porcelain. And on both sides, see if I can get in here, he's got the official artwork by Leroy Neiman. You can see he's a little smaller. So however it was that they cast him, he ended up a little smaller than the regular models. Well, and there we go. That is the middle shelf. And a small addendum here. I often have people ask me, how do I arrange my models? Because it's quite clear that I do not have them in the order they were released. And I don't even have them in any kind of order of their colors. I don't group the bays together, the chestnuts together, etc. Well, a couple of things. I have tended to put the older versions of Big Ben on the top shelf. These are models that I've had for several years. I know them very well. They're old friends, and they can be on the top where I can't see them as well because I have had them for such a long time, and I'm very familiar with them. And then we haven't gotten there yet, but on the lower shelf, this is where I have several of my rarer models, some exciting models, and I admit I have them here on the lower shelf where I can see them best. And then after that, vibes. I mean, at this point, I have them on the shelf in a way that seems aesthetically pleasing to me. And I do rearrange them every now and again into something I like better. So yeah, join me next time and I will do the exciting lower shelf. Thanks all.